What's going on, everyone? Miguel here at Retro Basement, and I want to talk about what's going on with the Black Panther movie, specifically in East Asia. There's a lot of bigotry going on in East Asia in regards to black people in general, regardless of their ethnicity or nationality, and even some darker skinned Asians, such as Filipinos, have gotten harassed within China. And I'm going to show you some scenarios in regards to the just disgusting bigotry that has been portrayed by some, and I say keyword some, East Asians within East Asian countries such as Korea and China. I almost said Japan. Don't want to do that because Japan so far, I haven't seen anything in the news in regards to the Japanese people. Japan had their time where they had a lot of hate towards black people, but also they're on some take over the world shit in regards to the Chinese people as well, and also Korea. But anyway, it's just been crazy with this Black Panther thing, and I'm going to drop 2 videos. So this is going to be the first part of a 2-part video kind of thing, just talking about history and saying just I hate racism. I can't stand it. It irks me at my very core. Racism, sexism, hate somebody because of their religion. I can't stand it. If you don't like somebody, just I don't understand it. I mean, Korea and China has been getting Western movies for God knows how long. And as soon as they get a movie with an all-black cast, it's not the best movie in the world. Yes, it's overhyped, but what Marvel movie isn't overhyped? But it's a movie that should be celebrated. Just like if Asians get a movie with all of them that goes mainstream within America and it's released over there, I would be happy for them. I would not say, oh, the movie's too Asian or it has too many people with certain shapes to their eyes that are slanted or whatever, or it's too yellow, or it's too Asian or something. I would never say that. And I am deeply hurt by it that certain Asian people would just not judge people by their character and the content of their character, but judge people by a movie, and a movie that's portraying Africa in a positive light. Just like I would be celebrating a movie that was, I shouldn't have said I would be, but I would be happy in regards to a movie that was portraying Asia, any part of Asia, in a positive light. Because not all parts of Asia are doing good. I mean, there's just the 3 main countries. Japan, as I'm going to say in my next video, China, and Korea. And some people might even lump India in there, and maybe the Philippines. But the Philippines is an extreme. I would probably take Philippines off that list. But anyway, and India's kind of an extreme too. But I would say the strong ones, the lighter skinned Asian people are doing well. And the darker skinned ones that tend to be doing well is within India. So those 3 to 4 groups, take it how you feel. And I don't think the lighter skin and darker skin has anything to do with the success. But take it how you want to. Anyway, let's get into the nitty gritty of me showing what's going on in regards to Black Panther. And people say that America's racist. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. A homogeneous society with very few people, unlike themselves, can just be, oh my God. I've had like tons of people that have hung around from different nationalities. I don't want to say I've had people from certain friends because that sounds racist, like saying, oh, I have black friends, or I have white friends, or I have Asian friends. That sounds this racist to me. I'm going to say I've been around all kinds of people. And it's taught me a valuable lesson of acceptance and judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, regardless of how pale or how dark he or she is. So, Asia, yeah, specifically China and some people within China, I will not say all because that's in the screen, but I believe the young population are some of the ones that probably turned out for this film, and the people that were on the hype train, because Black Panther was a film that was heavily talked about, and Asia, like everywhere else, specifically China, likes to watch a lot of TV. So they're like, okay, so and they probably marketed it like I'm going to say in my other video. They probably marketed the film a bit differently, showing the two white characters and maybe T'Challa, and not showing the majority black cast because it goes back to what the lady at Sony said. You know, within China has quite a bit of power now because they're the world's second largest economy. Does it mean just because they're the second largest economy that they're right in regards to their treatment of people? Hell no, it doesn't. But let's talk about this footage that's been coming up, specifically in East Asian countries. And if East Asian movie is ever released or an Asian movie that is celebrated as Black Panther and they get a superhero movie, I want to see the reactions that occur around Europe and Africa and what people say, and if it will be the same reactions, but I don't think it would be. I'm not saying Africa or Europe's the most open places, but I don't think it would be. I know Africa had the apartheid, and they had the part where they drove the Indians that lived there out, Indians from India. And they had the thing where they drove the cave people out as well. And I can kind of understand that. But Europe has the same thing. They had the Brexit where they didn't want foreigners in the country because they feel like taking the jobs. Most likely the jobs that they don't want. Then we have America, who had kind of our own little mini Brexit where we have our president, President Trump. So you can feel the way you want to about that. But I believe it was a statement of people being, or not me, people tired of foreigners. And when I do this, I want to use the correct grammar. I'm just talking so fast as a million miles per hour, but people being, or people not being, bad grammar, bad Miguel. Sound like a crazy little dog over here, chastising myself. But on a serious note, I feel people are just tired of people coming into the country, and they feel like the people that are coming into the country are taking their jobs. When that's not the case, most of the jobs that are, not most, that's in the screen, a good portion of the jobs that are taken by foreigners are jobs that we do not want as Americans, that probably Europeans don't want, that probably people in other countries that have had similar Brexit or political statements made by the people that they elected recently. It's jobs that we don't want when it comes down to the nitty gritty of it. Not many of us want to be a trash man. I mean, who wakes up and inspires to like, hey, I want to be a trash man. I want to pick up things on the side of the road. I don't want to be in the hot, scorching, cancerous sun all day building things like some of my Chicano and Chicana brothers and sisters do for Mexico. But yeah, I'm like, I understand it, but I'm neutral and kind of in the middle in regards to it because I can understand both sides of the fence, clashing together. And that's that. I don't want my channel to get too political because it's not the place and time for that. I have another channel that I'm doing that on, and I try to talk about both sides of the fence, not just one side of the fence, because that's, if I did that, I feel that we're missing some parts of the story. And I don't like missing parts of the story. I like having the whole shebang. So the first example that I want to show of just blatant and pure hate came a little while back ago when I ran across this article in regards to Chinese business owners going into Africa and basically pulling a early 1900s Caucasian, not necessarily Caucasian, pulling an early 1900s white, superiority. Not all white people, because not all white people think like this. But just pulling the horrible things from not just European past, but also Arabics, because they kind of were doing the slave trade probably just as long as the whites or Europeans have been. Not all Europeans. But for somebody to go into someone's continent, open up a business, and say no Africans allowed. Chinese restaurant owner, he was finally arrested. Last time I looked up things like this, or when I ran across this article, first of all, I felt really sad. And I was like, man, imagine an African, and they get a hard time in India with Indians being just as dark or just as black as any African, because I've seen people just as black as any African in India. You cannot say that they did not have some extremely dark people. And they have the Siddhis in India too. You can look up that Siddis. And they have the Negritos in Asia, and they have their original indigenous people within Japan. China used to have them too, but I think they killed them all off, possibly due to blatant racism. They were small, brownish skinned colored people with very, very curly hair, called the Negritos in the Philippines, the Siddis in India. But the Siddis and Negritos are a bit different because the Negritos are indigenous and the Siddis were supposed to be bought there. Depends on who you ask. Anyway, back on topic. I felt a lot of shame in regards to this. I'm not Chinese, but if I was Chinese, I would feel a lot of shame if I was. Not, I mean, no Africans in a Chinese restaurant in Nairobi, an African nation, an African country. And I know people from the East like to make money like we all do. Maybe some people a little bit more than others. But I'm like, wow, I'm thinking like, look at this. And he was finally arrested. Because you can't go to someone's, I cannot go to China right now and say that, hey, no Asian people allowed. I would be a racist piece of shit prick. I don't care what anyone says. If I did this, I would be a piece of shit. And people can tell me that I'm a piece of shit because it's clear that I'm clearly a piece of shit. If I go in somebody's country, not only their country, their continent, and tell them that the people that are originally from there, the Africans, can't go into the restaurant that's stationed within the regions of their land. Are they trying to do the Africans like they've already suffered the apartheid? Are the Chinese trying to be the white people, while the Africans are the Native Americans, the indigenous now? I mean, when people copy racism, they seem to copy from the worst part of the racism, which is when Europeans had the segregation within America. And Asians, not all Asians, but when Asians do it, you can clearly tell they're copying off white people. They're clearly copying, and copying is the best form of flattery, but clearly this is not the best form of flattery, not the best time within our history in any country, for any nationality, for any race. But the Chinese like it if people keep bringing up how they came over and built the railroad for America and what this place and couldn't get back to their homeland, so they had to settle here. Or the coolies within the Caribbean. Coolies is a bad name, but that's what they refer to them as, so no disrespect to anybody that actually is of that descent. What is wrong with these people? And you can read this for yourself. I don't have to read everything for you. I'm just going through it slowly so you can see it yourself. And yeah, look at this. So if you want to stop the video and read it, or you want to find the article and look at it, I'm gonna leave links in the description below in regards to all of this. But anyway, let's go over to Black Panther in Korea. We already know what happened in China. It's too black. The whole scenery was black. Everything was black. People were black. Why so black? We never asked why. Why things are so Asian? Why things are so white? No one ever asked that. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did black people ever do to you? Did they go over to your country and rape your women, or steal your natural resources or something? I'm like, I mean, seriously, did they? They didn't. Did they take over your country? It's funny that people hate the people that didn't enslave them, and the Japanese did. I'm not saying hate the Japanese, but I'm saying they did. Then, Europeans had their time when they took advantage of the Chinese and East Asian situation too. I'm not saying hate anybody, but I'm saying like, what's going on here? Because there's so much hate about Africans. I mean, even Africans within Latin America, the black Hispanics, which are tons, Brazil, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Panama, various, even Peru. If it's not the indigenous being hated, it's the Africans, and I feel the Africans get the most hate out of anybody. Because maybe it's because they were dehumanized for so long that people forget. Hey, they have legs, they have feet, they bleed, same as you. They talk, they walk, they're able to read, they're able to comprehend. I mean, what the hell is wrong with people? Stop it, people. Stop the bigotry. But let's go over here. Look at Korea. Korea's covering it because they don't want to probably be seen as racist pricks. I'm not saying all Korea, but Korea has an issue as well. I was eating out with someone, and my friend, who both one was Hong Kongese and one was Chinese, and they told me what two Chinese guys said about me. I was intimidating, and I was sitting there eating. I'm like, how am I intimidating? I'm just talking to my friends like I'm talking to you guys on camera, and I'm thinking, how am I intimidating? If you didn't want to come to a country where there's diversity, then like the redneck saying says, why don't you go back to where you come from and stay where you are if you can't stand diversity? Because I did nothing to them. And I didn't say anything to them. When I saw them, I was polite. I met with my friend who's Hong Kongese. I met with another friend who was mainland Chinese, and the two guys who were racist mainland Chinese guys who, when I talked to my friend about it, well, she's like, they do pretty well for themselves. I'm like, that doesn't justify racism. How does that justify being nasty pricks or saying bad things about someone that did nothing to you? That is means, and I hate to say this, but just like any country, Chinese people, and not all people, but Chinese people are just coming into money, so they're not used to money. So giving a person money that is not used to anything, it's just like if you gave Africa money. They're not all of Africa, not all of Asia, but there's certain times when people aren't used to anything, so they're gonna act a fool when they get it, which is an old saying. Anyway, racism, man. I'm not saying all people in Korea. I'm not saying all people in China. I'll follow this toward. This wasn't surprising though. This wasn't surprising me at all. I knew it was coming from East Asia, and I knew the Sony lady what she said was right. It was the cold truth, but she was right when she said like darker skinned people will not do well within Asian countries specifically. When she said Asian countries, when people think of the whole model minority and all that bullshit, they think of like 3 countries, maybe 4 if you throw India in there: China, Japan, Korea. But Asia is a huge place. So not all Asia is model minority. There's a lot of crime going on in the Philippines. There's a lot of crime going on in Indonesia. There's a lot of crime going on in other places. And let's don't forget, I forgot Singapore. So let's say 4 or 5. Singapore. Love the country, by the way. Beautiful people. Probably one of the most diverse places in Asia because it has Asians from all over. So I like Singapore. Out of all the countries I've visited in Asia, maybe just because one of my friends lived there, but Singapore is my favorite. Japan probably second in the rest of Asia. I might like Philippines even more if I ever had the opportunity to go there. But there's a few places I really want to go to from Asia. But I've never had any bad experience myself, except a small one in Japan where there was a customs thing that they had because I didn't know that no means yes and yes means kind of no within their culture. So I found that a little bit different. It was different for me, and it took a little bit to get adjusted to. Because when I tell someone yes, generally I mean yes. So it is what it is, and I understand culture, and I don't, it wasn't anything about, being biased against me. It's just that I didn't understand that particular culture because I just thought, and it wasn't anything that was bad or anything. I just left something somewhere because someone said yes, and I was going to come back and pick it up later. It's just a small bag or whatever, and they said like, yeah, you can leave it, you can come back and pick it up later. So I was like, thank you. I went on about my business. It's a long story. If anyone want to hear it, just let me know in the comment section below and I'll tell it to you. It's an interesting story, but I don't mind telling it. Anyway, yeah, Black Panther, man. People are vandalizing statues, and Korea is trying to say, oh, he was drunk. No. No one's this damn drunk. Look at this. I have been in, things where I had a couple of drinks and, I was a little, nothing crazy because I'm not a crazy kind of person, but I was a little wobbly, but it never led to me destroying things. That's just people getting ignorant. And they probably did this because of, what the statue represents. And that's just nasty. And I don't care what anyone says. Some guy claimed he was black when I was saying that this is just nasty. Said it's not racist. And it wasn't about this article in Korea. But that's like saying this is not racist. It's racist. If it walked like a duck and talked like a duck, it's a fucking duck. China is no stranger to being racist, but a lot of countries aren't either, but some countries more than others. Anyway, people are having a debate down here about what's going on, and people are generalizing, say Asians are more racist than you realize. And I'm not gonna get into that. That's what my channel's about. But if you want to see, you know, comment section, because comment sections are always interesting. People are having a huge, fight down here in the comment section. If you go down here, like people have so much to say about this. And let's see how far it goes. Oh wow, it's so much to say. Okay, it stops here. I will probably go through this because it's interesting to see what people have to say in general, but I'm not going to put you through that torture that's watching this video. Anyway, let me know what you think. Are East Asians being racist towards black people? Do you think this isn't racist, what I've showed you? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm a little bit saddened by this, and I hope that my video changes some people, that it causes people to think. I'm not throwing salt in the wound or not spreading hate. I just want people to think about what they did. That includes Africans that go to Asians, that includes Asians that go to Africans, that includes people that go to Europe, that includes people that go to Australia. Because Lord knows, in Australia, the Aboriginal people went through a lot.